And just like that, the boys are back. Matt, Jack, and Brian bringing you along for the action-packed episode. 1 day late because we have 2 games to go over. Game 7 of the hockey game last night, Blues and Jets. What a wild game. And then the Rockets and the Warriors. A little bit of a sweat fest there. I almost had to eat my words as, Brian tried to say the Rockets were going to come back, but Steph Curry prevailed and did not let any of that happen. So pretty good show coming up here. We'll always end with the Michael of the week. We'll let Brian get his opinion and analysis on that in just a second. I know he's eager to come at me and say, oh, he was close because he forced it to game 7. But either way, before, we jump into SeatGeek and the rest of the show, find it interesting. We have some kind of like an injured list problem here on the show. Jack had a cut. I absolutely sliced my head with a beer bottle over the weekend. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, things happen in threes, so I think I'm off the hook now. So I don't have to worry about injuring myself. But figure it out.
Like, dude, Jack had that go on. You guys posted the clip. 2 days later, a Modelo beer bottle slices my finger. And, I didn't even realize it happened. I didn't notice it happened. The way I noticed it, I was sitting down. I had Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run Saturday night. So I go, oh my gosh, he hits the home run. I go to check my phone. As I check my phone, there's blood all over my hand. So it was the Modelo bottle for sure, because the way I was opening those, I didn't have a bottle opener. And after you have a couple of those and you don't have a bottle opener, you can only imagine how I was attempting to open these bottles. The table, the Zin can, all sorts of different ways. And one too many, and we're on the IL, boys. So
that looks duct taped. Are you okay?
It's two Band-Aids wrapped around because it's tough. Like the cut is on the front of the thumb, so it's when you put it on one way, it's not duct tape.
You do the Band-Aid over top and then the Band-Aid around.
It's a little hokey for sure, but it's on there secure, Neosporin under there. The cut was pretty deep, but I just found it interesting. We posted that clip last week. And I was like, wait a minute, now I just sliced my hand. So I would say, Brian, buckle up because you're next. But I guess you got it's working in threes going in your favor.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a great opportunity. Neosporin, I know you're watching. Anybody that works over there will take the sponsorship and we'll take as much Neosporin as we can get. Because I think our guy Nick's finally healed. And Jack, I think you're about healed.
I just reevaluated. I may have needed to get stitches, but I think I'm fine.
Either way, if anybody is watching that works or has a connection to somebody that works at Neosporin or any probiotic company, we could use it. Antibiotic.
Yeah, we really could.
And probiotic.
And with that, let's get into the sponsor we do have, SeatGeek.
We finally made it through winter. Spring is here. Summer is coming. And the best place to get tickets to all the baseball games, all your summer concerts, or anything else is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of Views from Section 400. First-time purchasers can use our code ViewsFrom400 at checkout for $20 off any tickets, whether you're going to a baseball game, watching the Mets, watching the Phillies, you want to see a country concert on a lawn, and wherever venue you want to go to. SeatGeek is the place to go. Super easy to get any ticket. They have a one-of-a-kind system, shows you the best deal for your buck. And the best part, you get $20 off your first purchase with code ViewsFrom400 at checkout. We love SeatGeek. Thank you to them again. And here's the rest of the show.
All right, thanks to SeatGeek. As always, make sure you use that code, get some money off. NBA playoffs, guys. Game 7, Rockets, Warriors concluded. Brian's been our NBA chief correspondent for the NBA all year. He fell in love with the Houston Rockets, as is our guy Nick, is already a Houston Rocket guy. They showed fight. They showed heart. They were a young team. They came all the way back, forced a Game 7 at home. Too little, too late, not enough. You're not going to take down the veteran leadership that is Stephen Curry and James Butler, as 2019 Brett Brown likes to call him. But what do you guys think of the Game 7 battle? I was never worried.
Yeah, first off, thank you to Fred VanVleet. He cashed my 10-cent flip bet on that garbage time 3 with 20 seconds left. So I appreciate you. Also, Ime Udoka needs to go to prison for not playing Jabari Smith. more minutes, especially with Jalen Green struggling. And third, Buddy Hield, that was the best game he's played since he hit that half-court shot that didn't count in the Big 12 tournament against Kansas.
Buddy Hield.
I've got plenty of opinions on this game, but Brian, you have said that man should go to jail for not playing like 3 different guys enough minutes in this series alone. It's like, you can't play everybody. There's clearly a rotation, but I'm also not going to hate on that comment at all because Jabari Smith is, War Eagle, is a dog and is recognized as a dog. You had Draymond come out, after this game 7, give the Rockets a lot of credit, say exactly what you said, young team, show a lot of promise. But he singled out Jabari Smith and said that he played like a vet the whole series, a whole 7-game series against, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, Steph, 3 guys who at the end of the day probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, it's pretty incredible to get that kind of praise, from Draymond, from to Jabari. So shout out Jabari for that, War Eagle. But dude, the Warriors just showed what a veteran team can do in a game 7, in a take it or go, win or go home kind of situation. The Rockets weren't ready for that, but next year they will be.
They will be. And you know why? Because this is the fix for the Houston Rockets. And this is probably the fix for Jabari Smith. I don't know how he's been playing. I guess, Brian, you think he's been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Draymond Green basically said he was the best Rocket on the floor in that series.
Okay. Well, then I don't know if this solution will work out, but you go out. You sign, trade, whoever it is, to get Kevin Durant. Bring him in and have Jabari Smith under the reins of Kevin Durant. They're not the same player, but like same build, kind of, sort of. Have him learn after KD. Understand, you get a veteran guy in there. Dylan Brooks is not a veteran leader. I don't care what you say about the guy. Fred VanVleet, we've seen what he's capable of doing after signing a massive deal. Bring in KD. You can say what you want about him. I think it would make this team a lot better. And they were already the 2 seed. So you bring in a guy like KD, I think it propels them to that next level. They get their revenge against the Warriors next year.
I do think that's enough. And especially, they got Sengun too, who is also probably their – sorry, I know. I mess up his last name.
Give him hell, Brian. Give him hell.
Alpine Penguin. The Penguin. The Alpine Penguin. Whatever. Sengun.
The Penguin of Turkey.
Yeah, he's their best player, but you got him with Jabari, and as Matt said, you can add someone like KD. Running those guys to 3 through 5, that's scary enough. And then you got plenty of pieces to put at the 1-2, like Jalen Green, who's getting better and better, but I don't know, there might be a ceiling on him. I don't want to go too deep into him, but yeah, you're right. That would be a good move, and I think that they do need a move like that. They have a lot of really good pieces, but they need one more just dominant scorer.
Okay, well, I kind of do want to go deep into Jalen Green. Pause. He can't be James Harden in the playoffs, and he kind of did look like James. You said it first, but he can't be James Harden in the playoffs, and that's what he was. And we'll get to James Harden, but if the Rockets are going to take that step, you need Jalen Green to be the guy Jalen Green's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know if just KD.
Was he not that?
I thought he scored like 7 points a night.
Yeah, he didn't have a great series.
What's he, second year, first time in the playoffs? There's got to be some kind of pass you give the guy.
Yeah, it's early, but all I'm saying is you can get Kevin Durant, but if Jalen Green's not going to be that star, he doesn't need to be a superstar, but he needs to be a star. And if he's not, the Rockets.
Especially as a facilitator. I mean, I feel like we know Jalen Green as a scorer. So if you're not going to give us the scoring, you need to be able to facilitate if you bring in a guy like KD. But also, one reason, Matt, maybe you're not realizing that Jabari Smith is that good is because he's still doing the same shit. Excuse me, I'm trying to curse less. He's still doing the same things that he did at Auburn, which is be the most efficient ball player you've ever seen, to the point where you're like, dude, shoot the basketball. Just score. We know you can do it. Take more shots. Like it was. You
remember that game against Arkansas where he finally did it? And he hit like 4 threes in the last minute of the game. I almost brought him back.
Bro, like I remember him at Auburn, and I was like, this is the best guy in the draft. Like he doesn't miss a shot. And I don't think he went number 1, but he was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was unbelievable at Auburn. He went 3 overall in that draft, I think. Right. And the whole time at Auburn, I was just sitting there like, dude, just if you take more shots, we score an extra 15, 20 points a game. I think that was the year we lost to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't shoot the ball. Like, shoot the basketball. You're the best player we have. Shoot the ball. I think, maybe that's a coaching point that the Rockets really look forward to in this offseason is, let's make Jabari Smith the scorer.
It's almost the same issue. Like, you had Wendell Green and KD Johnson kind of just chucking up shots when it should have been Jabari. And now it's Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet. And Fred played well-ish in this series, but Jalen Green did not. Jabari Smith needed to be on the floor more, and he wasn't. And that's why Ime Udoka should be in prison.
And then
the Thompson dude, wasn't he supposed to be on the floor more? Wasn't that your game one grief?
He did play more. He did. And if all you needed was to combine him with Jabari and Şengün, and you would have had something. And I guess they kind of did. They got it to 7, but you can't lose
get it to 7. They got it to 7, but it was too little too late. You can't go down 3-1, force it to 7, and then expect to overcome. It's too much.
No, I'm happy for the Rockets. They were able to make this a competitive series. Got some extra playoff game experience for all those guys. But I think this honestly says more about the Warriors, and the fact that this got stretched to 7 is a tough look, especially with them coming up against the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Jack, because I was going to say, let's shift the focus to the Warriors, the team that actually won this series. They have Steph Curry. They have Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green played pretty well in that Game 7 match last night. So is this a one and done for the Warriors, or are they poised now to make the run? I know everybody's scared of the Timberwolves and what they bring, but one and done, or are they poised?
Well, if Buddy Hield can give you 30 points a night, they're going to win the finals.
Right. And we can expect that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Steph Curry didn't play great. They kind of punted away Game 5, and they should have won Game 6. They didn't. I don't know. I want to say the Warriors. I haven't looked at the line, but I want to say they'll be able to take care of business. I know Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind, and Rudy Gobert remembered you have to score the basketball, especially when you're 7 feet tall. But
I got the line for you. It was the Minnesota Timberwolves were favored at like -175, and then the Warriors were like +140.
Yeah, okay, that's about what I expected. I don't know. I just think Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, I don't even know if I could say are the two best players, at least right now. I want to say Jimmy in the playoffs is better than Anthony Edwards at this point. It's close. I don't know. I think the Warriors have enough.
I think the Warriors have enough. I'm never going to discredit or, not give a chance to Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, those two guys, especially in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm on Anthony Edwards' team, man. Like that's my guy. I thought he was going to win the MVP last year. I thought he was going to win the MVP this year. He just took down LeBron. Now he's going to go take down 2 more GOATs. Jimmy Butler left Minnesota because he called everybody out there soft as shit. Well, they brought in a dude who is not soft as Charmin, and Edwards is going to be going at them. And 7-game series they just had to play, the Warriors. Butler was injured for some of that. Steph's hurting with that hand. It just seems like this might be where they run out of gas.
Yeah, maybe I want to take that back, especially because I don't think he's chronically online, but Anthony Edwards' team is chronically online, and he found every hater that was saying Lakers in 5, Lakers in 6. So I don't know if I want to be in the pool of haters. So you know what, Anthony? Timberwolves in 7.
Yeah. I don't know which way this one's going to go. If I had to rank the players that are going to be on the court between both sides, I think I would still have Steph number 1. I would have Edwards 2. I'd go Butler 3. And then is it a flip-flop between Draymond and Rudy Gobert for 4 or 5?
I think you give it to Randall at 4.
To Julius Randle?
He's been playing really well.
He's been playing well.
Julius Randle, I can't go there.
I don't know. Yeah. He has been playing well, so I guess if we're talking in form right now, maybe. I don't know. I think I'd still maybe take Draymond.
At that point, you want to give it to Buddy Hield, don't you?
Yeah, right? Buddy Hield had 30 points, so you got to put him
Poljevski, he's been playing well. I mean, there's so many role players in this. I
Yeah,
don't know. It's gonna be a
McDaniels,
fun
Nas
series.
Reed, like there's a lot of role players in this, but there are 3 superstars. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna see the 2 on the Warriors side. They do have 2, but both of them are pretty banged up. So Anthony Edwards has shown zero. I don't even know what the word is. Limitation, zero
Fatigue,
fatigue. What's the word? Like he's
lack of
attacking,
stamina.
bro. He's just
He just
attacking.
doesn't care about anything.
He's not slowing down for anyone or anything. He's attacking.
He's got the football mentality, Mamba mentality.
Yeah, he really does, and it works well for him. I mean, he carries that team. He carried them last year, and who did they lose to the Mavericks? A fat traffic cone, Luka Doncic led Mavericks.
Yeah, after going
went
7,
right?
Did go 7? Okay, so let's pump the brake. Like again, yeah, like he just beat a 40-year-old LeBron and a traffic cone of Luka Doncic. This is going to be a different animal he's coming up against. You know, Ant can run his mouth. Let's not forget about the other 40-year-old, and I know he's not 40, Draymond Green. That guy's the king of shit talk. So he'll have all the ammunition ready to go for this series. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. I think I'm Brian, you gave us Timberwolves in 7. I'm gonna go just to be a little bit different, Timberwolves in 6, but I'm on the Timberwolves in this one.
Yeah, I want to take the Timberwolves, but I think if they didn't have Jimmy Butler, I'd go Timberwolves. I think the addition of Jimmy Butler, the revenge factor, Jimmy's been doing it longer. I think he has too much pride to lose. This is how it's going to go. They're either going to win and Jimmy contributes. If they lose the series, you're going to see Jimmy with some kind of injury that is some kind of excuse, or maybe he doesn't even play at the end of the series. I don't think he's going to be fully healthy and stand on that court and lose game 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, to lose the series outright. I think there's going to be some injury that he can fall back on. That's what I think.
I feel like he already has that. The game out. He was out.
Yeah, but you'll see it come out if they're in jeopardy of losing. 100%.
Did we talk about the days? Kind of get mixed up when we miss a day, but did we talk about Malik Beasley having butterfingers and costing the Pistons?
Yeah, I mean, was he going to make that shot? Probably not.
He's the best shooter on the planet, according to him.
Well, and that's according to him. For that, like, who gives a shit? But maybe he would have, maybe won't. We'll never know. But yeah, that was bad. You can't miss that up. It was before that, man. They blew that game. They had every right to win that game. They're in position to win that game, and they played to lose the game, meaning they played scared. They let Jalen Brunson do Jalen Brunson things that we've seen him do in the playoffs. And look, are we going to get a better series between the Knicks and the Celtics? Probably, but I was rooting for the Pistons, man. That would have been fun to see a game 7. Old school rivalry. I mean, the Pistons of the late 80s and the Knicks of the late 80s. I mean, that would have been some fun stuff there, man.
Did you guys hear the Korean call of Jalen Brunson's 3?
Yeah, I think I did actually. He just said one. Didn't he just say one word?
He flipped out. He was like, "Here, I'll find it. I think I have a bookmark."
Brunson.
I thought he just was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, pretty much. It was Brunson and
Brunson. Whoa!
But I love those calls.
Yeah, guys, the Knicks are on to face the Celtics. I think game 1's tonight as we're recording this, so we won't know. I guess we can maybe make some quick predictions. In that series, I will go Tatum as 1, Brunson as 2, Brown as 3. I don't know who the 4th is, but it's somebody on the Celtics.
Porzingis.
Probably 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, I don't know who
Derek White's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
White boy Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah. So is Jalen Brunson the only one in that top 5?
Josh Hart hustles for rebounds.
I mean, Josh Hart's a great player. Cat's good. He's just soft. Yeah, even OGN and Obi's a good player. Like they got play. Like
Maybe Anunoby at the 5.
They got good players over there in New York, but this Celtics team, they've got the same 1 through 6 who just won the championship last year here again, and not looking any worse. No one's hurt or anything. So if anything, They're looking even better because Peyton Pritchard is actually that much better, winning 6th man of the year. Didn't do that last year. So yeah, I love the Knicks, and I hope that they win this series, but I'm not betting against the Celtics. I made that mistake last year.
I don't think the Knicks are going to win a game.
Hold on. How do you do this?
Yes, I said the Magic will win.
Orlando Magic song and dance into the Knicks are not going to win a game. And I agree. I think the Celtics do take care of business early in this series. But for you to say that, I just think is outrageous.
I think the duo of Paolo and Franz Wagner is better than the duo of Jalen Brunson and Cat.
And you might have something there. You really might. But they're going to – I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. But I'm not going to say I predicted the Tatum injury and them kind of taking him lightly, but that they were going to kind of take the Magic lightly. I don't think they're going to take the Knicks lightly. They're going to want to kill the Knicks.
Yes, there's definitely that. And you do make a good point about Paolo and Franz Wagner being a better 1-2 punch than what the Knicks can provide. But, that's not what it's like for the Knicks. We just said OG, Cat, Josh Hart, Brunson, those guys are on the floor all the time. It's Bridges too. They're on the floor all the time together. So it's not really a 1-2 punch. It's a unified team playing through the 1 through the 5. Obviously, it all starts with Jalen Brunson, but you really think that they can't win a single game against the C's, dude? Even if the Celtics go up 3-0 and we're in MSG, you don't think that they're going to be able to pull out one at home to avoid the sweep?
No, I think Tatum and Brown hate, and Joe Mazzulla just hate the Knicks, and they want to make a point that we're that much better than you, and they are that much better than them.
They kind of are.
They probably are, and I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to win the series, but just the Magic have a chance against the Celtics versus the Knicks aren't going to win the series. I just think that's wild.
No, yeah, that is wild. You're going sweep. I'm giving the Knicks 2 games.
I give them at least 1.
Celtics in 6.
Maybe 2. Guys, let's not forget the Sixers forced a Game 7 with the Celtics. They could do it. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, I already see this whole narrative of rest versus rust where we're going to have Cavs and Pacers go to 7 and the Celtics are going to sweep and they'll be off for a week.
See, that's a series that I see the Pacers sweeping.
I don't agree with that either. I think we're going to get competitive series, boys.
We're getting some good
games out here.
I see a sweep there, and I've been saying this for months. This isn't me just watching Game 1. The Cavs are frauds, and I've said this on the show. You guys know that I'm not a huge Donovan Mitchell guy. Brian thinks it's something to do with him being a Mets fan, which it might be part of it. But it's there. No, I still think he's a fraud, and a very good player, very talented player, superstar level. I don't know that he has the nuts to get it done.
Honestly, I can understand that because at different points in his career, he showed that. But at least what I've seen with him on this Cavs team, starting with last season's playoff run, he is that guy, and he's that guy for this Cleveland team. Even in this Game 1 loss that they just suffered to the Pacers, he was that guy leading the team. I think he had 33 points. And everybody else.
Don't look at his shooting percentage, though.
And that's fine.
But
that's
he
fine.
Is the guy. They rely on him.
And I gave him the creds for being superstar-esque, superstar-like. But he's not going to win.
Okay, well,
he's the guard of Embiid's.
Okay, so who do you look at on the Pacers?
He plays games.
He does. But he has the same stat padding style Embiid hasn't been able to do it by himself and with help. Mitchell, I don't know what help he has ever had. Maybe he did have some help.
He had Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, that's pretty helpful.
Before Rudy Gobert knew how to score.
Jordan Clarkson was dropping 25 a game.
Not 25. Jordan Clarkson came off the bench, didn't play any defense, and shot 5 for 17 from 3 every night.
You just putting up points either way, and maybe
All right,
I'm being very harsh, but I don't see them winning this series. Sweep is harsh as well, but the Pacers are good, man.
Yeah, the Pacers are good, and I think I picked them on the last show. But Cleveland, this is for you. We're going Cavs in 7.
Wow, that is a total flip flop because you did pick the Pacers in the last show.
Yeah, but you're annoying me how down you are on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Isaac Okoro is our last chance to get an Auburn Tiger a ring here. So
I've been calling them frauds for months. It's the Eastern Conference. It's horrible. And that specific division that they play in is even worse. What do they have? The Wizards in there.
The division
tanked. They don't mean anything, but you play everybody more.
Trying hard to figure out
Maybe
who
one
I'm going
more.
to pick, but I think I'm going to go with the Pacers in 7.
Yeah, it's the Pacers all day.
All
Because
right,
look, even if the Cavs get the next one, Pacers sweep at home, and now you're 3-1 going back to Cleveland. You can afford to lose that 3-2, and there you go. You're right there back in Indiana to close out the series.
Would hate to be a blue and yellow team up 3-1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Rewrite history, Brian. Rewrite history. All right. What other games do we have to get onto here before we jump ship to the NHL?
Yeah, I got a stat for you guys.
Sure.
Thunder Nuggets. We going to talk about that one at all?
Yeah, no, we'll talk about Clippers Nuggets and then get into Thunder Nuggets. James Harden now has 55 career playoff games under 4 field goals made.
Yeah, the guy sucks. It all goes back to the reporter calling him out. It was at the beginning of the regular season last year, called him out for, wanting to be with Daryl Morey on the Rockets, going to the Nets and blowing it up, going to the Sixers and blowing it up, and now going to he basically said, look in the mirror, man. Maybe you were the problem. And as far as I'm concerned, this is no different than what we saw in Philly. I mean, they got to a Game 7 against Boston. I brought that up just a couple moments ago. And James Harden was non-existent. I think he had 6 points. And we saw the same thing in this Game 7. James Harden is James Harden. He's what he is. Another guy who just will never win.
Well, it's a couple things, but my main thing is because I've always hated the play style. I mean, he was the SGA before SGA, where he's whipping up his head, throwing up the beard, asking for a foul on every single shot attempt, bumping into people, doing unnatural movements. And he was at the free throw line for 20 free throws a game during that stretch in Houston where everyone was like, oh my gosh, the beard, he's amazing. I've never been a big fan of that game, especially when you get into the playoffs, because they're not calling the same fouls that they do in the regular season. He's just moaning and then complaining the whole time instead of actually playing basketball. And I love to see it because I've never been a Harden fan.
I think he's got to shave the beard. When you have the long beard like that, you can feel like you hide. And he takes that a little too personally and hides in playoff games.
Doesn't he have too many sponsorships with the beard where he might get sued if he shaves it?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I really don't know. I got nothing to comment on James Harden's beard, but I'm just saying the play style where he's always looking for the fouls. I've never been a fan of it.
Yeah,
it's never playoff time, and that's
the new age.
A stat like that is even possible.
It's the new age NBA. It's what these guys do. They bitch and moan and complain for fouls. Is LeBron the one who started this?
I think it'd be tough to put it on LeBron.
Brian's thinking because he knows him.
It was that era.
That era.
But I don't know if it was LeBron specifically.
And it got worse as time went on with him, though.
Yeah, it got much worse.
It's definitely just gotten worse in general. I would
LeBron's massive, so he gets these tiny arms flailing at him, and it's barely a foul, and he feels himself get touched, so he complains.
So
I mean, because I still remember the days where he's never mind. I was about to make a bad point, but nah, man. How are you gonna single it out on him?
Well, I asked a question. I didn't single it out on him. I just asked a question.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
I think if there's anyone to point the finger at, it's probably Harden.
Well, that was going to be the follow-up of if not LeBron, then who?
I mean, it's who's the
Because it
first?
was not like this always. Even like early 2000s with AI, like AI, I don't, to what I remember, wasn't like
No,
flailing all over the court crying for fouls.
no, I will.
Maybe argue with the ref, but
I think it's more of a culture thing, right? Like since sports have been invented, referees have been blowing calls, and players, coaches, athletes have been complaining about said calls, in one way or another. But I think it's more of a culture thing now where, these guys don't get the foul on the court. They're like flailing, like, hey, where's my foul? And like, everyone does it now. So everyone else does it. That's kind of the thing. Where did it, like, who started that? I feel like that'd be really hard to pinpoint because it quite honestly has been around forever. But like the era definitely happened in LeBron's era. I'll give you that.
so
It's definitely become a more and more like a bigger thing in the past. Honestly, since like Harden, that's when I can remember. But
I'm gonna blame the And One mixtape tour. You guys ever watch that show? It was on early 2000s, but every single time they made like a tough shot, they'd yell And One. And I think all these kids grew up yelling And One because of that. And now it was the And One mixtape tour.
wait, dude, I think you're right. Because people just used to yell and one when there's nobody even guarding them. Like you're literally just shooting shots in the park. And you're like, and one. There's no one guarding you. So now people are just used to yelling after a shot, asking for that foul. And now everyone does it. Yeah, wow.
Might be onto something.
I think you might be onto something, Brian. Whenever
Russell Westbrook also had a hilarious dunk in this game. That was the other thing I wanted to touch on in this. I think they were up like 30, and he hung on the rim for like 10 seconds. He got attacked.
I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's been balling out? He's been kind of balling out, dude. And running 6-man minutes, right? Put the ego and pride aside. He has no problem coming off the bench.
His per 40 is probably still a triple-double. He's playing, 20 minutes and getting 12, 5, and 5 each game?
Yeah, he's been playing really well as a role player for the Denver Nuggets. And look, when you get to that age where you really want a ring, right? He doesn't have a ring.
No.
I don't think so. I only made it with the Thunder way back in the day.
They didn't blow that 3-1 lead to the Warriors.
Yeah. Who?
The Thunder.
Thunder, yeah.
The year the Warriors blew the 3-1 to the Cavs, the Thunder blew the 3-1 to the Warriors the series before.
I forgot about that. Who was on that Thunder team? Wasn't Durant already gone by then?
No, that was the year before Durant left, and that was part of the reason everyone hated Durant for leaving.
Harden was gone.
Harden was still there too. All three
of them
were still there.
It was the last dance with them all, and Serge Ibaka.
Oh, yeah.
Serge.
Well, I didn't realize it was that big of a blowout.
Big Perk, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, Perk, Steven Adams, Enes Kanter. They had a good squad.
They had a great squad.
Kevin Martin.
Team.
Yeah, they had a good squad, but I don't know who wins. Like we know the Clippers frauded out. Kawhi Leonard's getting another year older with all the injuries. James Harden's what he is. They probably make the playoffs again, but I think 2019 Kawhi winning a ring is all he's going to get.
Yeah, he did his best chance in this year. He actually finally stayed healthy for it, but can't bring Harden in there. You got to get Harden out of there if you want to move on in the playoffs.
You don't even really have any young pieces to build off. I guess if you still consider Chris Dunn young, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to need a whole overhaul and rebuild. They just got the new stadium, so they're trying to milk as much as they can out of making the playoffs to get that extra revenue and money in before they go into a perennial rebuild.
Steve Ballmer brought the wall to Denver in game 7.
Oh, did he really?
I think
it was like 20 fans.
I think you can trade away Harden and get something in return for him that still helps you win now.
Who's going to want him? He clocks out in the playoffs.
There's too big of a sample size for Harden. I do think
if the Wizards get Cooper Flag, combine him with James Harden, there you go. Jordan Poole, that's a playoff team.
They don't even have Kuzma anymore.
You want him? Kuzma just had a club trillion 0-0-0 in the playoffs.
No, he was something to have there. I mean, the Wizards have nothing, dude.
Bilal Kalal.
Dumpster fire. But my point is, like,
Major
not
dumpster
bringing
fire.
Cooper Flag into this. No one's trading away Cooper Flag for James Harden. But if
Well,
you're,
no, you would keep Cooper Flag, but you pair him up
Brian
with James
can
Harden.
pair him up with Harden.
no, but I'm saying the Clippers, they're trying to get something in return, right? So, like, trying to get like a Jordan Poole and maybe something else for like James Harden, like maybe you can swing that.
Yeah, Jordan Poole and Bilal. Bilal. I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's not enough.
And a first-round pick in 2029.
I don't know.
But you're saying that's not enough to win a championship.
That's not enough to get the deal done, and that's not enough to win a championship. Both. What the fuck was that?
What was that?
It wasn't mine.
I have no idea.
What the fuck it was?
Might have been my TV.
I think that was your TV, Matt.
Yeah, it might have been mine. I don't know how that just happened. Anyway, that like, dude, I heard it ring through my headset. I was like, what the fuck was that? Anyway, what were we talking about?
Cooper Flag and James Harden going to win the NBA Finals.
No,
Yeah.
I think we're too off the reservation now.
Yeah, it's totally fine because Cooper Flag's going to the Sixers. But we can save that for NBA draft lottery when that rolls around. But OKC Thunder, they're still everybody's favorite here. I still live by it's got to be the Thunder and the Celtics for us to have the most fun in the NBA Finals. Don't give me Ann Edwards and the Celtics. I don't need to hear it. Thunder.
I'd take the Nuggets again. Honestly, I think whoever wins the series, I guess we saw Nuggets. Was it Nuggets Celtics
I'd be happy with any of these four teams.
No, it was Mavs Celtics.
Yes,
yeah, no,
Matt.
I do care.
You do care or don't care?
I don't care.
Happy.
I think all four of the teams coming out of the West would be a fun team to watch all the way till the end.
I don't know, man. I'm going Thunder and Celtics still. I forget what you guys had picked, but I was going to say that anything switch up. I know Brian's on the Cavs.
Yeah, originally I had the Lakers, so I guess I can switch up again. To be different, I'll take the Cavs and the Nuggets. But if you want my brain talking, it's going to be the Thunder and the Celtics.
Also, what my brain would say, but I want to see Ann Edwards in there. So give me the Timberwolves.
We do get the revenge factor with Russell. Also, almost said Russell Wilson. Russell Westbrook against the Thunder.
He's already poisoned your head, Brian.
Yeah, he's spent enough time away from OKC. Is there really a revenge factor?
They'll be thinking about it. Their egos will definitely be thinking about it. They'll want to win a little bit more. But you're right. I think a lot of time has passed. What do they say? The longer the time goes, heals old wounds. So I don't think it's
something like that.
Something like that. I don't think it's too crazy as it once was. And yeah, Westbrook's kind of jumped ship a few times since
the last series was a revenge series for him too.
It feels like it's been a decade since he's been in Oklahoma City. They have a new coach, all new players. Like I doubt he has a single teammate.
His best days were over there. He probably. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a revenge factor for him and him only, but
yeah,
he's also the first player to ever average a triple-double. Well, I guess Jokic just did it, so now there's two. The first two players to ever average a triple-double and win a playoff series.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I think he definitely had a little bit more revenge factor against the Clippers in the last series, a team he was more recently on, against a guy like James Harden, who is a teammate with. I just don't see the connection between him and OKC anymore.
No.
He loves to get stuff in his head to motivate him.
Yeah, out of all the guys, I do agree.
He creates these false.
He would be the guy to wear.
The guy lives in an anime.
Someone's gonna ask him about it after the game, one of the reporters, and he's gonna have some crazy response. You'll see, dude. He does it all the time. It's gonna be wild. But I think that's that. And as we roll on to the NHL, we probably could have mentioned it, although we're already going to have the results after this goes on, and they're going to kind of be revealed as they're going. But it is the NHL draft lottery tonight. And the Flyers have a 9.5% chance at getting the number one pick.
Are we going to have to hear about another prospect all year?
Probably.
I'm
Who's their coach going to? Do they have a coach yet?
They don't have a coach yet. They just fired Torts.
So the lottery is tonight, meaning we find out the order.
Yeah, we find out the draft order, so you'll find out it's the same thing as the NBA.
Right.
And it's like you don't know, like I think their best shot, they're going to be sitting at the fifth pick, the fourth or fifth pick, but there is a 9.5% chance out there that they get the 1. And it's not horrible.
Wishing the best for you, Matt, for you and your teams, but I mean, I just think that's like some Brian. Who do you love hating on? I can't remember who do you like hating on more for scheduling. Who's your least favorite commissioner when it comes to scheduling?
Adam Silver.
Silver.
Now it's Rob Manfred because of what Adam Silver did. Well, maybe what David Stearns did. I don't know. I hate them all.
You switch it up every other day. You hate all these commissioners and all of their scheduling.
I hate the fact that everybody plays. No, Roger Goodell's scheduling is fine. I hate the fact that everybody plays everybody in every sport now. The NFL still does it right where they play 8 games against a division, but baseball plays everybody now. Divisions mean less and less, and the NBA divisions don't mean anything.
All right, well, you went with Adam Silver first, so let me go with Adam Silver. But, I don't understand the scheduling here where you have playoff games going on as you're doing this draft lottery. Why? Like, you couldn't find a single night where, you don't have any games on, or maybe you do this before the playoffs start, like after the playoffs start. Like we're doing this on a playoff game like tonight. Like I'm watching the Panthers tonight. I'm not watching the draft lottery.
Well, so a couple things. That game does start at 8:00, and then the other game starts at 9:30. I think this is going to take an hour at most, probably a little bit quicker, so that those next set of games will start and this will be over. And you also got to remember, it's the draft lottery. These are all the worst teams in the league finding out where they're picking who are not in the playoffs right now and not playing. So
this feels like a participation trophy. Like, we know you don't get to watch the playoffs, but here's, something to look forward to for next year while the rest of the league is enjoying the playoffs.
Yeah, this is where I break you the news that the NBA draft lottery is right before the NBA finals.
No, I know that one is too, and that's always pissed me off. I'm a little less familiar with hockey.
But again, it's just I think we're just finding out the bottom 15 picks or the top 15 picks. So it's nobody's in the playoffs. Nobody had any, and it's not like overlapping any games. Like Hurricanes and Capitals play tomorrow. If that game was tonight, or I guess I don't know, we're recording whatever, but that would be overlapping, and that would be like, what the hell's going on? But they're not doing that. So there's no NHL going on right now. You get I think it's a nice appetizer to the playoff games tonight.
You know what? Maybe I misspoke. Maybe I need to do my own research and maybe enjoy that. But I've been locked into the Panthers. We got playoffs going on. I'm not thinking about next season yet.
Yeah, man, we do. We have to touch on for the second year in a row, Jack's left with his pick still alive. Brian and I have
a question about this. So last year I took Toronto. Toronto now plays Florida.
Yes, you can have.
I'm taking Toronto.
Vibes. Just for the vibes, yes.
Bro, you're out here trying to spite me at every turn.
Every turn, dude.
Welcome
to the club.
It's coming
first
home.
is the Lightning, and now it's Toronto. I mean, I know game 1 is tonight in Toronto, so shit, Brian, you're just gonna stay against me this entire time? After the Florida Panthers win this series, who are you gonna take in the next series? Have you figured that out yet?
The Washington Capitals.
You see, he does have some teams lined up, man. I'll give him that. They're just lined right up to the finals.
I got a rooting interest in all these two.
Like he's speed dating.
Yeah, it really is, because they're just getting picked off one by one. Anyway, I think that'll be fun. But no, man, I picked the St. Louis Blues because they were the hottest team coming in. I thought maybe they could make it. And hey, look, the Jets were the best team in hockey this year. They had the best goaltender in the National Hockey League. This would have been an unbelievable upset. They're up 3-1 in Game 7. Up 3-1 with under 2 minutes to go. The Jets get one back when it was like a minute and 20 to go, and then obviously the haunted 1.6 seconds will haunt these Blues players for a long time. They tie it up, go to double overtime, and yeah, man, I see my pick go crashing out of the playoffs. They blow the 3-1 lead, lose in overtime, and now I got to pick a new team, I guess.
Yeah, you really got Murphy's Law here. There's been 14 Game 7s to go into double OT. Last one, the Blues were in it against the Stars, and they won. Can't win it twice in a row.
Can't win it twice in a row. If I knew that stat going into Game 7, I probably wouldn't have even watched. But yeah, I did spend just about the majority of my Sunday evening, start at 7 o'clock and went all the way till like 11:30 when it was all said and done. So tough to see those scenes, how it ended. And yeah, we move on. I'll stick in the Western Conference. I think they all I don't know. I don't know who's going to do it. I thought the Blues would have a chance against the Stars. I think the Stars worked the Jets.
Well, you have a chance here to do something, and that's take Edmonton and then say they're on the West Coast.
Yeah, but I hate Edmonton, dude. But I'll take the Oilers.
Kind of ripping the Stars.
It's not hard to root for McDavid, is it?
Nah, it's not. I don't even know why.
What do you mean? He just killed America's aspirations to win the Four Nations League.
He did do that.
Brian, it's the Four Nations. It's not. It's like an NHL thing. It's not like the Olympics. That would hurt me more.
So these guys are kind of. I mean, it's the World Baseball. People care about the World Baseball Classic.
What?
The same type of thing. People care about the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, people definitely
they don't play baseball the Olympics.
That's true too.
Do they have? But I'm saying that. Do they have softball now?
I think they wanted to add it in LA. I think they wanted to add baseball too. I don't know where that ever got to. No, they are because the host country gets to add a sport. So I think it's coming back for 2028, and it'll probably go away in the next one.
I just hope the Flyers get the one pick and you get a live reaction of me screaming.
Did it just start?
Nah, they're putting the balls into the
wheel.
Yeah, or whatever it is that blows around and then they randomize it. It's honestly kind of ridiculous. But nah, man, we got NHL here. I don't know what we got next.
Capitals, Hurricanes. Let's go.
Yeah,
Caps.
I think the Hurricanes are really nice though, dude.
They got a guy named Aho. They're gonna lose.
Yeah, I think he's former Flyer. The more you know.
Of course he is.
The more you know, yeah.
Aho?
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced Aho.
Samuel Aho or Aho. Or maybe, nah. I think that's his kid, maybe.
Wait, is it the guy? I've seen him on ESPN and stuff?
No, that's Acho.
Yeah, you're thinking of the former Eagle.
Emmanuel Acho.
You're thinking of the former Eagle. A lot of ex-Philly guys staying relevant in some sort of way. But let's keep it rolling here. Brian, you are now officially Capitals next round. You'll be all over.
Assuming they don't lose.
Assuming they don't lose, the Leafs will get it done here, and we'll see what happens next. But I don't have much on the NHL until we get to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Other than I was pretty sad to see the Avalanche go down.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, good for Dallas fans. They've been having a rough go of it. And Mikko, I always want to say Rakuten, but I think that's the clothing company. Rantanen sounds right.
Rantanen does sound right.
Yeah, he had the hat trick against his former team, game winner. Good for the Stars.
Yeah. I don't know how they're doing this right now. Sorry, I'm trying to stay locked in, but they're drawing balls, but it's not. But the Flyers odds just went up to 12.9% for the number one pick. I don't know what's going on though.
So they're drawing them, but they're not announcing them?
Well, if they drew number,
it says first draw, and they just drew 7, but there's only 4 blocks up there.
Also, when did they switch to the virtual ads on the rink? You guys notice that?
Kind of sick. Now they
just the overlays.
Well, it's a green screen. So baseball always has the green screen on the backstop, but now hockey, there's still the actual ads when you go to the game, but they somehow did it so it's
they did it so
displaying
that
the virtual ads.
Yeah, and they did it to where like they have the boards that are white on the bottom all the way around. They put like virtual fake like shit up there as well, which I don't know. It's pretty cool. Get more ad in there, Brian.
Yes, I think the NBA tried to do it too, and they got rid of it.
Yeah, it's tough to do on the wood court, I guess.
Well, they have like the
It's
four.
clean.
They have like the four that you always see in like the corners. But
they used to have them like near midcourt.
They project them on there.
They still do?
Yeah.
Huh.
All right, hold on. They somehow just shot up to 18.2% to get the one pick.
Well, who will be the one pick? Is there like a generational talent?
The number one and the number two picks are like, all right. So if it's the 4 ball or the 6 ball, the Flyers get the number one pick, and I think that like the number one guy is supposed to be unbelievable, and the number two guy. So if you basically get the 1 or 2 pick, would be sick. But if the Flyers got the 1 pick, they'll get like a generational center who would pair so well with Mitch Kov.
All right, we need the Flyers to get this 1 pick because the NBA will not give the same city the 1 pick as the NHL.
I know, right? Fuck.
Who do you want? This center or Cooper Flag, dude?
You're right, man. Just give me the 2.
Give me the 2. I'll take the 2 in the NHL. I'll take Cooper Flag, the 1 in NBA. Why not?
I mean, from what it sounds like, the drop off between 1 and 2 is a lot less than what it would be in the NBA.
Yeah, it is a lot less. Although the number 1 guy here would be sick, but the number 2 guy, I don't know.
It's a perfect way to wrap up NHL talk.
Yeah, well, I was kind of hoping that like we would have a Flyers decision for the end of the NHL segment, and that like my reaction would have been like the end of the NHL segment. But classic ESPN Disney have to throw in like a 4-minute commercial break.
Oh, I got a stat for you guys while we're waiting for the Flyers pick.
I think they need the 4 or the 6. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. The 4 ball or the 6 ball, I think, and it wasn't either one of those.
So that's bad. Or is that good? Did the ball just fall on the floor or something? They got to redo the lottery.
Oh my god, dude! Somehow, some way, a team that had no freaking chance, dude. The Islanders get the number 1 pick.
Wow.
That is an absolute.
I was going to say, aren't the Islanders?
They don't even have a GM.
Aren't they a decent team?
They like were decent and then they fall off, and then they got like red hot right at the end of the year, but like didn't get hot enough. Oh wow, that was. I mean, they had like no not that they obviously had a shot because they fucking got it, but like that wasn't supposed to happen.
What the Flyers end up with?
Flyers picking.
Now they're doing the second draw for the 2 pick. So I don't know how this works, but anyway, we can finish out the show. I thought possibly the Flyers were going to get the 1 pick, but that all but assures us for the number 1 NBA pick. Right. Cooper Flag to the Sixers.
We're doing this all again in a month.
Yeah, it will be fun, but I got nothing else on the NHL. I definitely can't wait to see what we got for the Flyers here. Dude, I don't know how this is working, bro. It literally makes no sense. All right, Michael of the Week. All right, we're back. Sorry for the choppy NHL segment at the end there. I thought maybe the Philadelphia Flyers were going to come out of nowhere and do something good and win the NHL draft lottery. Not that they really had anything they could do to help or hurt their chances. But we will wrap up our show to kick off the week, to really kick off May here with our first May segment of Michael of the Week. Brian, you seemed like you were pretty fired up, ready to go, so I will toss it on over to you.
Yeah, well, I'm mad at myself for not bringing this up while we were watching you look at lottery balls, but
okay,
I got 2 stats for you guys. So the Wild are the first team in the 4 major sports being baseball, basketball, football, American football, and hockey to make the playoffs 8+ times in a 10-year span and lose in the opening round every time.
10 years in a row?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
And lose in the first round. Yeah, look, they were really good this year. They struggled with injuries early and then mid. I forget the guy. It's like Kapril Kazal. I don't know. It's some Russian name, but he was really, really good. They had the team to maybe make a run. Obviously, didn't really work out, but that's an incredible stat.
Some would say it's wild.
Some would say it's wild. Maybe that's a cursed name.
One. I would think. I mean, like, just off the rip, the only other team I can even, like, think of that might sort of fit that bill is the Steelers as of late. They're always making the playoffs, and, like, they shouldn't be because they lose the first playoff game pretty handedly every single time. But I feel like they might be pretty close there, too. Starting back from Big Ben to, like, now, that's probably, like, 5 years, 6 years?
I think it's five or six straight, and the Brewers, too, in baseball. So we got a couple teams that are going to challenge there. Wild stat for the Wild. My other one, which was my real Michael of the week, just real quick. The Mets have lost their 34th game of the season in 15 straight years.
What?
The Mets on their 34th game of the season have lost that game for 15 straight years.
So they're 0-34 on May 4th?
Well, it depends on off days, but their 34th game of the season, they've lost.
That game for 15 straight years.
It might be 16 now. It might have been 15 going into the game, and they lost.
Okay, so next year, on the 34th game, make sure you let us know ahead of time so we can put a bet down.
I will, because that will be what breaks the streak when we all bet on it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Knowing our luck, that's exactly how it'll go. But, dude, what an insane stat. I thought originally when you said that, you meant like for the 15th straight season, they've lost 34 like or more games. I'm like, has that not happened every year? Did they go like something crazy in 33 one year? But that makes a little more sense.
Yeah, especially May normally tends to be the month the Mets fall off after a hot April. It hasn't been the case in the Cohen era, but they are off to a rough start this May. So my guard's up right now.
Yeah, that's a wild stat for you. Another wild one.
Yeah, the Mets have lost 2 series in a row. Here comes a downfall.
A lot of injuries happening too.
2 in a row. Yep. Yeah. And the Phils are getting hot. They've won 2 series in a row. Closing the gap, 2.5 out. Bang!
Did we not say we'll look at the standings once Memorial Day comes? It doesn't matter until then.
I wasn't going to say anything, but you're like tweeting out, the Metsies are hot. Here come the Metsies. So
they won 7 in a row.
There, dude.
They were cooking. Running? They were cooking. They weren't hot.
Brian, you guys are going to need a new gimmick soon, man. 2 straight series losses. You guys are going to need something to turn the season around.
They are going to need something to turn the season around. I agree. And it's not going to be Juan Soto.
He's playing well.
Start.
All right, Mr. Jack, what's your Michael of the week, please?
Yeah, well, mine is also going to be a pretty crazy stat that I saw. So, as we know, LeBron James, Savage, came into the league 03-04, has 184 career playoff wins. 184. He came into the league 03-04. Since 2000, no NBA franchise has even close to that amount of playoff wins. The 3 closest, the 3 highest, playoff wins as far as franchises go, it's the Spurs, the Celtics, and the Lakers, and they're sitting right in and around 150, and he's at like 180. I mean, that's crazy. Like, this man is the NBA.
Yeah, it is a great stat. He did go to 8 straight finals. So it's not that unbelievable, at least for me. I'm sorry to knock down your stat.
Are you trying to knock the fact that he went to 8 straight finals, Brian?
No, I'm saying it's
incredible stat.
It's a great stat. I'm just saying I'm not that surprised.
Yeah.
Talking about past 25 years.
I guess the Warriors, because they weren't even like a dynasty until the late 2010s, and maybe the Spurs early 2000s. But we haven't really seen the longevity. So LeBron has been the dynasty, like you said. LeBron's been the NBA,
the face of the NBA, dude. But that's coming to an end quickly. Maybe it's already over. It is already over.
He has a injury and he's unable to go to the Met Gala.
I did see that.
Really?
He's not going to be able to serve as chair of the Met Gala.
Is that tonight?
I have no idea.
I think it's, as we're recording this, it's
last night or 2 nights ago.
Who cares? It's the Met Gala.
Right. I agree.
What even happens at the Met Gala?
I don't know.
They go celebrities, pictures. Oh, what are you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing this. Oh, I'm wearing that. Nice. And then everybody goes home.
I think. Oh, I know the Met. Isn't the Met a museum?
Museum.
Is
museum? What? Am I saying that weird?
Say it again.
A museum?
Yeah, you know what? You roast us for our Philly accent. I'm gonna roast you for this. Museum. It's an E, not an A.
Museum?
Yes. Essentially.
Yeah, man. Ripping on us for our accents.
This is one of my favorite parts of the show is learning how everyone says words.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. None of us three are getting invited to the Met Gala.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Yeah.
Well, maybe if I learn how to say museum properly, but
that would be a good start. All right, man. I'll wrap this up here. Nothing crazy, but I did find an interesting article that the White House is seeking to cut brain injury funding. They're doing research on all of head injuries, this, that, and the third, and they've made such a huge deal about this over the last 10 years. And I just found it interesting that the Trump administration's coming in and they're like, yeah, we're going to cut all the funding to that. Even though it's been like this huge hyped up idea. I'm not sure why, not sure how they can really cut that, but whatever federal funding that was going towards brain injury research, potentially to be cut. So something to look out for. And do we possibly see the NFL, with all the money that they make, pump some of their own money into continuing the fight for, research on head injuries? Because
100% tariff on Guardian caps?
I don't know. Could be. No, they just said they're cutting the funding, but not even for the NFL. I guess they do their own, but they said it was like towards youth football and like high school football. So maybe there aren't as many injuries as they say there are.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is maybe more just the unnecessary spending by the government. Like, not that it's unnecessary, but they're probably sitting there like, these NFL owners are billionaires. They can subsidize this research, to keep their game going. We don't necessarily have to do that. I mean, I don't like the move. As someone who loves football, wants to see it around for the rest of my life and for even longer. I don't want that going anywhere. So they, and the brain injuries are a big part of it and lead to less people wanting to play the more, stories you see of these guys after they retire. But
right.
It's just weird.
Yeah. Weird move. And it wasn't even necessarily at the NFL level though. It's, particularly at the high school and youth levels. So hopefully maybe we can see a push from the NFL and all the owners with all the money that they have, that they create some kind of fund or program to just at least continue the conversation and continue the research, because I do think the brain injuries are, look at Antonio Brown. That guy went off the deep end. So, let's try. There's never going to be a fix, I don't think, just the way how violent and physical the game is. There's never going to be a fix, but to continue the conversation, to create resources for people to, kind of cope with it and deal with it, I think is really important. So you don't see crazy suicidal, mass murdering things because people go off the deep end. I mean, it's not something to play around with. So hopefully the NFL can do something if this does get cut and come in and offer some assistance financially.
Yep, I agree.
I gave my 2 cents like before you went into that one. I was expecting Brian to have an opinion on this, but
I almost said concussions aren't real, but I figured I wouldn't.
Why? Because I got a little too emotional there for you, Bri.
Yeah, they have enough money to figure it out.
Yeah, I just thought it was pretty. Honestly, like I found a little bit of comedy in it. That it was like, of course, the Trump administration is coming out and kicking this program to the curb. But
Elon is cutting everything so he can build more spaceships that blow up.
Yeah, Elon's cutting the budget, and I also I think this has to go through Congress, so we'll see if this even comes to fruition. But that's all I got for this one, man. That's the Michael of the week. If you guys got anything else, please share. But that's all I got.
Brett Beatty's back.
Mets down 2 series in a row.
shout out Bari.
War Eagle.
Go Birds.